Hey there, happy crocheters. I'm your co-host Eva Dam from the Crochet Crowd. Today is Stitching Up Sunday, where we pair up stitches together to form awesome patterns. On screen is today's multiple to change the width. If you want to do an afghan, refer to our afghan size sheet for inches. Chain with the multiple number to get the width you need. Then add the second number at the end of the chain for the balance. For yarn and hook size, darlings, ensure the hook complements the ball band information or close to it. Grab your hook and yarn and let's go visit Mikey in the studio.
And welcome everybody. It's a special edition of Stitching Up Sunday where the stitch is going to match this afghan. If you would like to do this afghan with all the 6 stitches, you must have a multiple of 120 plus 2. But if you follow the instructions, it's chain 122, which is 120 plus 2. So just to recap on this pattern, you will see all the different layers that we have for this particular stitching. So you will see that there's 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The only difference is sometimes they change the colors throughout so that it might be the same stitch but in a different color combination. So that's what we're going to be focusing on. So the wave stitch is going to be our first and then etc. So you can follow that in order to make that. So we're going to move on to the shell pattern, and the multiples of this one are 6 plus 2. So if you wanted to change the size, 6 plus 2, but of course for the afghan it's 120 plus 2 or 122 as it states. So what we have here is that this has a really neat effect of coming down. It's actually my favorite stitch of the whole thing. I can see a whole afghan done with this. This is really quite awesome. So let me show you how to do the shell pattern, and I am using a 5.5mm size eye hook with my Caron 1 pound today. So we can do the multiples of 6 plus 2. So you just go in sets of 6 and then at the end just add 2. So I'll do 3 sets of 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And then once you're satisfied with the width of this, you can put it down on something to measure it up to. Remember, if you're adding it to the afghan, you don't need to chain at all to begin. So they just add 2 at the very end, and let's begin. So turning around, so just let's go back in the other direction. So second chain from the hook, just get the back hump only and do 1 single crochet into each, going all the way back to the beginning. So I'll see you at the beginning of this chain. Once you get to the end of the chain, you're going to turn around and we're going to start doing our shell work. So it's really kind of neat. So we're going to just begin, and when we begin I just want you to go in. So notice I'm not chained at all. I'm just going to go into the first stitch, pull through and through. So it's just a slip stitch to get us started. You're then going to skip over 2, 1, 2 and go to the third and put in 5 double crochets in that one. So let's count those out together. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, just like that. And then what I want to do then is that I want to just continue along. So then skip 2 and go to the third and slip stitch. So just through and through. Skip 2 and then do another shell. So you're just going to do another 5 double crochets. So let's count those out. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And once you're satisfied, skip 2, go to the third slip stitch, and then just skip 2 again and shell. And that's all it is for this row. So it's a really easy row to be able to do. Actually the whole thing of this one is. So we're going to keep our color on one more time. So we're not going to change it yet. So once you have the final 5, skip over 2 and slip stitch in the last one. So let's turn our work. So this row we're going to keep the same color going. So going into the first one I want you to slip stitch. So go in the first slip stitch here and slip again. Now each one of these on top of the 5s, the 5 double crochet is just 1 single crochet. So you can either count it or look for it. I would just look for it. And when you get the 5 done, the one that's slip stitched here, you want to slip stitch again. So just slip. And then go in the next 5 of single crochet. So that keeps it nice and compact by doing that slip stitching down there. And then slip into the next one, and then the last 5. and then we have to change our colors once we get all the way to the other side, but make sure you slip stitch in that last one before you end this yarn. So just slip stitch in the last one, and then you're gonna get rid of this yarn. And how we start the next round is, our row is really quite important. So let's fasten this off and let's begin our next color. So we're gonna start our very first one, and where we start is way down here. So we don't start where we left off, we start here. This is the first time that we did our slip stitching when you started the shell, and so it's way down there, and we're going to do a long kind of like a slip stitch here. So we're just gonna slip so that just pull up, give it a bit of slack, and then pull through. And now you're gonna chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So when you did that slack, it just went over top of the other slip stitches that were on top of that. So what you need to do in the next ones here, you're gonna start in the next one that's right on the shell, and you're gonna do a double crochet, and then the ones here on the top of the middle shell here, they're each going to be a single. So we're gonna have to 1, 2, and 3, and then the next one is going to be a double. And now the next one is going to be in the slip stitch way down there. So just wrapping the hook, it's a treble, going right down into the slip stitch, pull through, give it a bit of slack, and then finish the treble. So starting on the shell again, the next one is going to be a double, and the next 3 are singles. So 1, 2, 3. The last one there is going to be a double, and then the treble is way down here. So just wrap the hook going down, giving it a bit of slack, and then pulling it back to do the treble. So then the next one is a double, and then 3 singles, and then a double, and you keep doing that all the way across, and then finally you'll hit the end, and the end one will be a treble way down there. So this is where you'll end this yarn, and then you'll begin the next new row rows. So just end this one here, and we're going to begin doing another set of shells. So there's not too many of these on the pattern itself, if you noticed. I really like this. I would actually add more of these because I think they're awesome. So remember to add on, you're just gonna go in the first one and do a slip stitch. So just slip it, and then that's your first stitch because it's slipped, skipping 2, and then going to the third, and you're gonna put in your 5 double crochets. And then you remember what to do. You're gonna skip 2, and it's on top of the treble, which makes sense, is going to be your slip, and then you'll do skipping 2 and do another 5. So you'll do that all the way across, and do you remember what you have to do when you get back to the other side? If you said you have to single crochet back across using the same color, that was the right answer. And if you're green just because I said it, that's still the right answer. So let's just continue to go all the way to the other side. And don't forget you have to slip stitch when you get back to the other side. So on the top of the treble, slip, turn, and then remember going to the first one, slip again, and then starting in the next one you're going to put in a single crochet into each of those, except for the ones that are right in between the shells where it's slipped, you're gonna slip again. So please do this going across, and I'll see you at the end of this row. So when you get to the other side, don't forget you have to slip into the last one and then get rid of this color, and we're gonna reintroduce the other color back in. Do you remember how to restart? You have to do that extended slip knot, right? So starting with the next color, you have to start where the other one is slipped, so it's way down here. So just give it a bit of slack, and then chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're gonna double crochet into the next one, and then remember the top, the three in the middle are each a single, and then finish it with the double, and then you're gonna drop down. So right where it's slip stitched, that's where you want to go. Sorry, it's a treble that's dropping down. See, and that's what separates those shells. It's a really neat stitch. So you're just gonna keep on going. So the first one's a double and the next 3 are singles. So do you think you know how to finish when you wanted to make a flat to move on? If you wanted to change to something else, this would be the row that you would want to do that on, because you have a nice top solid in order to do that. I'll demonstrate that in just a moment. And don't forget that one in the very end, you drop it down. And so if you wanted to turn your work and you wanted a nice flat edge to keep on going, just chain up 1 and just put in a single crochet in each, and then that will flatten it back off, so you can move off to something else and your stitch counts will remain the same that they were when you started. So you'll end up with a nice flat area, and it's a really neat idea, and you can just get rid of your loose ends and etc. So that would be how you would do the shell pattern for this particular afghan.